Go.
Hey guys, welcome to the new podcast Three Boomers, created by Jatin, Brijesh, and me myself Gitesh. In the series of the podcast, we would like to discuss conspiracy theories, unbelievable shit, and history, sports, scandal, and of course, last but not the least, meme culture. So, today's topic for our discussion is the controversial but yet not proven Philadelphia project. Occurred in 1943 and 1943 October 28 in Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. And for the further discussion, I would like my friend Jatin to say. Jatin, go on.
Okay, so this was an experiment that is done by the USA Army, US Army, like we can say during the World War II against Germans. They were kind of developing a technology, we can say, to make the ships get invisible from the radars of the German and attack them, you can say, like secretly. But I don't know. You can just wait and listen to the entire podcast, and that will let you know that if they were successful or not. The ship's name was that on which the experiment was conducted was USS Eldridge. It worked on a particular technology, and about that technology, my friend Brijesh is going to explain about it.
So the technology was called the unified field theory, which was uh, worked upon by Albert Einstein. Oh, rather I should say Sir Albert Einstein. Of course, man.
You would
Respect, man. Respect. Uh,
respect.
so the
हाँ
theory
Brijesh,
goes what?
कुछ बोलना है
yeah, actually, it was not worked on the unified field theory. It was worked on the electric field manipulation technology.
Oh, maybe something I got wrong. Okay.
Oh, so guys, this is a boomer show. We all are boomers.
Maybe let me explain
We
it. Maybe
can't.
maybe I've read the definition correct. I have understood the concept correctly, and I'm saying the
Okay.
definition wrong. Uh, so it was basically worked by the accumulation of all these forces like electromagnetism, gravity, strong field forces, and weak field forces. So they used all four of these to something to do like what can you say गायब करने के लिए पूरी शिप की शिप गायब करनी थी उनको जस्ट बिकॉज कि जर्मन्स क्योंकि ये अटलांटिक फाइट चल रही थी वर्ल्ड वॉर का टाइम था सो दे नीडेड द होल
हाँ.
शिप टू बी इनविजिबल टू द टू द माइंस and so they tried to develop this technique and let's see whether they were successful or not. So the
So
what happened actually when the first experiment was held in the Philadelphia Navy shipyard. The ships were actually tied with some kind of wires which were supposed to produce electromagnetic fields, and the ship, when will it go above from the mines, so the Germans would used to do what they used to deploy this electromagnetic mines, sorry, magnetic mines. Whenever the ship would go from right up from them, it would get attracted to the mines and the mine would burst, the ship would get destroyed. So they tried to do one thing. The U.S. naval ship, they tried to develop this technology by wrapping the wires around the ship. They were trying to develop an electromagnetic wave which will cancel the magnetic effect of the magnet downward, the magnetic mine, and the ship will the to the magnets, to the magnetic mines, the ship will be invisible. So the due experiment of this led to something very unusual, something we can never imagine that things can like this happen, which people told afterwards the experiment was done. So what happened will be explained, or maybe rather I should say will be more put light upon from Jatin.
Jatin.
Okay, so as we know, like the US Army conducted the experiment, they were like the witnesses say, like they were quite successful in the experiment. The ship kind of disappeared for some time. While it appeared back, first of all, like when it disappeared, Witnesses said that there was a strange blue light or green light occurred at that time, and there was generator buzz. After some time, when the ship reappeared at the Philadelphia naval shipyard, they said that the sailors, some of them went insane, some of them came back with some mysterious illness, while surprisingly and quite disturbing to know that some of them had their body parts attached to the ship, that is the ship's metal, and they were screaming, and they said that they witnessed through hell. So I know, like, if you're imagining pictures in your mind, it's quite disturbing for you too. Like, their bodies were literally attached to the ship. That's what the witnesses say. Uh, so this is about it, about what happened during the ship. But there are different theories regarding this. Like, for example, there
So
was a writer.
basically, so
Yeah,
basically, there was a ship experiment going
yeah,
on a in a U.S. naval shipyard. The
yeah,
ship name
Philadelphia.
was USS Eldridge ship. Sorry
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the bad pronunciation. Uh,
Of course,
so
boomers.
they were trying to, so they were trying to hide the ship. So they were trying to hide the ship
yeah,
from the German
yeah, yeah,
radar.
yeah,
So am I correct?
Yes, of
yeah,
course.
So
yeah.
but
Very
the
much.
but the but the experiment got hit 180-degree turn, and it
The experiment kind of got out of hand. Like, they were successful, like people say that the ship disappeared, but it was quite harmful. Like, the crew was not safe.
There were actually two kind of theories. One was like the ship disappeared, but it teleported from the Philadelphia naval ship to somewhere else, and then teleported back again to the Philadelphia naval ship. And the conditions of the people were as described by Jatin.
so the experiment went way beyond the expectations and way beyond the explanation
Yeah,
of
it was
science.
much, you can
Um,
say, out of control of the people who were, and what was the desired outcome, they didn't got it.
okay, okay. So for the further elaboration, Jatin, you may continue.
Yeah, so like I told, the experiment got kind of out of hand. While there was a person, Jessup Arthur, like we know, he was quite a famous writer about UFO. His some of the books did well, some of flop. Because of which I think his wife left him, and he was quite depressed regarding that era, like regarding the time. While there was another man called Carl Allen, Carl Meredith Allen. He was the person who used to write letters to Jessup and tell him about that. He was present at that time, during that time where the experiment was conducted, and he had witnessed it. And he kind of wanted Jessup to write about the experiment. While Jessup was not so sure about it to write it or not, he did his own research. He was also not sure. While on the other hand, Carl claimed that he was taught by Albert Einstein himself, and he understand what a unified field theory is. Okay, so I know, like, it's quite confusing. Like I said, Carl kind of forced Jessup to write about the book, but Jessup kind of disagreed on that. He did his own research. It is also said that Jessup attempted suicide, while some say that he had known too much about the experiment and the U.S. Navy killed him, like the U.S. Army killed him. Uh, I mean, the officials kind of killed him. He was kind of found dead in his car with some gas pipe attached to it, and the windows were closed. Quite an horrible death. His friends kind of claim that he was depressed because of his divorce and all, while some say it was the U.S. Army, U.S. Navy. There's no such proven thing about it, but who knows?
There were also some of the theories like he was doing all these rumors, spreading all these rumors because he was himself an alien, not because of his name is Alan, of course, but the people, the
That was a
people.
bad joke.
Thank you. It is an also kind of humor, dry humor. I'm quite
Yeah,
famous about it, but
continue.
let's continue. They thought it was it was believed that he was himself an alien, and he himself plotted all these rumors just to make the just to get people to know about this experiment more, which the US naval ship and the scientists they did wanted to hide it because it was at the end not so much good. The outcome was not desired what they wanted.
Yeah. So basically, there were two personals, or two men, Ellen and Joseph. Ellen was a book writer.
Alan and
Ellen
Jessup.
was a,
Yeah.
Ellen was a book writer, and Joseph was the actual witness,
No,
or
no.
who
Jessup
himself claimed that
Jessup
he
was the
was a
book writer.
witness.
Jessup
Acha,
was
Joseph
the
was a
book
book
writer,
writer,
and Allen, yeah. And Allen was the one who kind of claimed for
that
that.
he was a witness of the experiment.
Yeah, yeah, that he had seen the experiment. And he
So,
also claimed that he understand unified field theory.
who?
Yeah, yeah,
Ellen,
even we do.
Yeah,
or
Allen.
Joseph?
Yeah, Allen.
Ellen. Okay, okay. Continue.
Yeah, so now you guys might be wondering what is unified field theory. Like Brijesh has mentioned earlier also, it is a theory that involves a force that involves two or more forces, that is electromagnetic, gravitational, weak or strong forces. More than two is kind of a unified field theory. Moving on to a next theory related to this is in 1980 there was a man called L. Belk. He claimed that actually a movie was based on this entire experiment, the Philadelphia experiment. So when the movie released, there's also another story to this. I'll just sum up in a short that the producer or the director of the movie was kind of forced by the US that you are not allowed to publish this or release this movie, but they kind of released it anyway, like it happens even in India also. Not to mention some
Cen-
famous names. Yeah.
censorship, censorship.
Yeah. So, like we all know, in 1980, the guy named Al Belk kind of claimed that his repressed memories kind of came up, and he actually knew about the actual experiment, and he was a part of it. Actually, he was part of the crew. Quite interesting. He said that he claimed that he actually witnessed the entire thing. He was the crew. He was a part of the crew, and he witnessed an a trip to the 21st century. Uh, he said that at that time when the experiment was being conducted, the ship was tied through various wires. And at that time when the experiment was about to going to happen, he jumped from the boat with one of his colleagues or friends, we can say, and he found himself traveling through the clouds. Like he jumped from the boat and he found himself traveling through the clouds. And when he woke up, he was found on a barren land in some hospital, like unknown land in some hospital with radiation burns, and he claimed that that year was 2137. So it's quite strange that someone claimed that just watching a movie, but who knows again? It's just a conspiracy theory.
Mm, was it a ganja trip, I think.
I
Uh,
actually there's a like I don't know what you guys think about the theory, but my personal opinion is that it was kind of fake thing. It's a technique called a degaussing technique, which I've studied about, where they like British explained earlier, they tie the wires up on the ship so that it gets a particular electromagnetic field, so that when it's passing above the magnetic torpedoes, or magnetic mines, it can avoid that. And we still don't know if it works or not, if the theory was true or not. Like we said, it's a conspiracy theory, but still an interesting thing to know that half of the crew was went insane, had some strange diseases, some were attached to the ship, and some really thought that they went through hell. So I don't know if that blows your mind or not, but that's mine.
yeah, it sure does blow our mind, and I would not rather say that. So basically, it is a conspiracy theory. It is not yet proven. It was an experiment conducted by USS Naval, and you all know that how cruel USA, now USA, but then USS was on their experiment.
FBI,
Like
open the door.
Let's call it a night, guys. Okay. Thank you all for watching, and please do
So
like if you want more of these podcasts of these boomers talking about some random shit. Uh,
random shit.
okay, thank you.